Welcome back to the Temple of the Luminary Lion YouTube channel. Did you know that you can take an old wooden box, stick it on a bookshelf, and create a beautiful altar space for your spiritual practice? Well, stick around and I'm going to show you how. Hey everybody, my name is Julius from www.templeoftheluminarylion.com, and it seems like a lot of people feel that in order to have an altar space, they need to have some kind of big elaborate setup, and that's just not the case at all. So I'm going to show you how I turned this ordinary box into this beautiful altar space that I can connect to my ancestors, I can connect to spirit, to the universe, whatever it may be, through using my tarot cards, and it's very simple, and I'm about to show you how. So the first thing that I did was take my box and I cleaned it really well. So I actually used a cleansing spray that I had created, and I actually created a video on how I make my cleansing spray. So make sure you check that out. I'll link it at the end of this video, but also down in the description. So I cleansed it really well. I used this spray, wiped everything down really well. So as I'm cleansing the box, I'm making sure that I'm setting an intention for the box. I want this to be a sacred space where I can connect to my spiritual practice. So I'm making sure that I'm using this cleansing spray and I'm wiping it down completely all over on all sides, including the inside. So you can actually stop right there and start putting your things into it that you're wanting to use to connect to your spiritual practice. For me, I like to go a little bit further because I like to put as much of myself and my creativity into the tools that I make. So I'm going to put in a little lining. This is just made out of felt. You can get this at any craft store, Walmart, anything like that. And what I did was I measured all the sides of the box. So I measured the inside of the box. So you want to make sure that you're measuring the inside because there is a thickness to the wood that would not be accounted for if you measured by the outside of the box. So I measured the inside of the box, both sides, length and width, and drew on my piece of felt that rectangle. Next, I measured the height of the box and drew little wings off of the rectangle so that I can have the sides covered as well. So after I draw out my shape, I'm going to cut it out and do a dry fit into my box. Now I want to make sure that the sides are covered, the bottom's covered, everything is fitting really well. So I'm pushing in all the corners, I'm making sure that the edges line up. If it's a little bit too big like mine was, no worries, you can actually take it out and just cut some off or cut it while it's inside the box still. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I think that that's really important for something like this is don't worry about it being completely perfect because this is a tool for you. This is the energy that you're putting into it. It's not, necessarily to make it beautiful or to make it, perfect. So once I was able to get it fitting really well, I took some glue and I just used my finger and I spread glue all over the bottom and all over the sides. And you want to make sure that it's fully covered all the way up to the edges of the sides so that you are able to make sure it sticks really well. So once the glue is all spread out, you put your felt in and you line up the edges along the top and make sure you're pushing in all of the corners. This might take a minute to get right, and that's fine. And you may need to trim a little bit more or maybe add a little bit more glue here and there. But just make sure that it's fitting really, really nicely and that the top is nice and even. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine did not come out to be perfect, and that's fine. So next, I actually found these little feet on Amazon that I really liked. I didn't know how I was going to use them, but I've had them for a really long time. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to add them to my box and this special altar. So I took the screws that they came with and just screwed them right into the bottom of the box. It took a little bit of muscle to get it in, but once it's in, it goes pretty easy. I feel like this just gives it a little bit more uh, something special, and it's not just a box sitting on a shelf. But again, you can have it just be a box. You don't need these legs. This is not necessary. This is just to give you some ideas. So I found this piece of leather that I had in my craft room, and I decided it would be perfect to attach to the inside of the lid and connect it to the inside of the box. And that way the lid won't open all the way and it won't flap open. And I'll show you why in a little bit. So I took a pair of pliers and a thumbtack and attached it to the top of the lid. And then I measured where I wanted it uh, on the inside of the base and just cut it and attached it with another thumbtack. And this allows the box to open, but not all the way where it's flopping over. So after that, you're essentially done and you can start adding whatever you want to your box. So I'm gonna show you what I added to mine based on how I'm gonna use it, but feel free to add whatever you want. This is just inspiration. It does not have to be this way. Whatever resonates for you and your spiritual practice, use that in your box. So for this altar space, I'm gonna keep it really simple. I like to include all of the different elements. So for earth, I have a little crystal. For air, I have a little incense. For fire, I have a little tea light candle. And for water, I am including a little bottle of my cleansing spray. So I'm going to be using this to connect with my ancestors. And I like to do that with the tarot card. So I'm going to include this little tarot deck as well, which fits perfectly in there. And then I'm going to include this smoky quartz sphere as a necklace that I can wear as a symbol of connection with my ancestors. Um, and I can show you on another video how I would consecrate that so that it is used specifically for connecting with my ancestors. And then finally, I have these meditation beads that I created a long time ago, which I think will be perfect for meditating prior to my tarot card reading with my ancestors. So I'm going to include that as well. And then I'll include this little cloth that I can lay out if I choose to. And that's it. Now your sacred space is complete. You can stick it on your shelf, and then when you're ready to use it, pull it on out. And I wanted to just show you, so as I'm connecting with my ancestors, the reason that I put this little cord here is that I can take my tarot deck, and when I pull a card, I can set it right up here. And then I can leave it out for the day if I'm pulling tarot cards each day, or as I'm reading with my ancestors, I can place some cards there. So I hope that you found this video helpful and that it inspires you to create your own sacred space, even if you don't have a large space available to you. If you end up creating something like this, or if you want to just show off your own sacred space that you use, go check out my website, www.templeoftheluminarylion.com, and check out the temple community where you can post in our discussion forum with pictures and descriptions of how you create a sacred space for yourself. And as always, I hope that the light of the Luminary Lion guides you on your path and protects you along your journey. Take care, everybody.